So before I talk about self-organizing teams and servant leadership, let us focus on one aspect, and that is cross-functional teams. What is a cross-functional team? What do you think?
Yeah, it's like definitely the different department
Mhm.
of the team. So it's called cross-functional. It's a term we use more often.
These are various different specializations put together in a project, because project is not doing one kind of job. It may be trying to bring a change in the organization or maybe in the customer environment. So we need specializations of different areas here. So the cross-functional team members are coming from various different specializations, teams that have all the capabilities to deliver the work they have been assigned. Team members can specialize in certain skills, but the team is capable of delivering what they have been called on to build. So this is what the cross-functional team is. So team members all may have different functional expertise. What is a self-organizing team? Naturally, this is a cross-functional team, but why are they called self-organizing? What do you understand by that? Why do we call it a self-organizing team?
So, for example, if we work in an agile way, so it's more of like self-organizing team where the manager can get like the overarching overview of what's going on in the project. So it's not really like micromanaged by a manager, but it's more of like yeah, basically self-managing team.
Actually, there is no concept of micromanagement in self-organizing. That manager has
Okay.
absolutely nothing to do with what the team is doing. Manager cannot interfere. He has actually delegated all the powers to the team members. So team itself is self-organizing. They manage themselves. They lead themselves. They select what to do, where to do, when to do. They just deliver. As far as the team lead is concerned, team lead, on the other hand, is just behaving like a servant leader. He doesn't have any authority to order them around or tell them what to do, what not to do. He is just helping them. He's there to help them, support them, and advise them, but not to order them. Moreover, he is there to remove the obstacles, impediments, and hurdles in their way and make their job easier. That is what a servant leader does. And this model of servant leadership is not applicable only to the team lead, but also to the product owner, to the team members. Everyone is a servant leader. In whatever capacity he or she is, they are all servant leaders. So, coming back to the self-organizing team, a cross-functional team in which people fluidly assume leadership as needed to achieve the team objective. What does that mean? Fluidly assume leadership. Because they are cross-functional, they have got different specializations. If there is a task to be done and it is related to a specific specialization, so whomsoever is an expert in the team about that will automatically assume the leadership role, and all rest of them start collaborating with that person. The next task is a specialization which I have, so I will automatically assume the role of a leader for that task alone. Only for the duration of that task, I will be the leader. And that's how we can keep shifting the leadership role amongst the team members. I hope you understand the concept of self-organizing team.
Yeah.
Then we have the servant leader, as I have already explained. Servant leader,
But a question here, if people are just gonna assume fluidly the leadership, like the leadership is required, so wouldn't there be much more conflicts if there is no defined leader who to follow?
yeah, there is
So
need for a defined leader. You see, let me give you the example of a team. Just a moment. Actually, I can't really hear you loud enough. That's why I again am putting on. Okay. Okay. If you are having a group of laborers to do a work, they all have the same specialization and they have equal capability. They are not very expert, but all of them are just laborers and they are trying to build a wall. This is a situation where they do not have a delegation. If at all they are given the complete delegation, they will fight over it. They will fight over it because they all are of the same equal capability and rudimentary capability. And this is the first time they have ever been given any power to do things all by themselves. Definitely, there will be a fight. As compared to the type of team which I am talking about, this is a team of a very educated people who are kind of who are cultured and who are specialists in their own area, and there is only one expert in each area in the team. Naturally, it would be very easy to decide that this task relates to which area of specialization, and automatically that person will raise the hand and he will start taking over that because naturally it is to deal with certain expertise and only that person has that. So everybody will pay heed to it. They all are educated. They know that this is the person who knows his job, and therefore we have to listen to what this person is saying, how this job should be done, and then they start contributing. Naturally, this is a collaborative environment. This is not that this person becomes a leader and he starts ordering them around. It is always collaborative decision making they are doing. He puts up a idea, the others listen to it, and then they agree or disagree, and
Yeah.
after discussion and collaboration they do it. So it is not like I am the king and for this task and I will order everything what I think should be done. No, that is not the type of leadership we are talking about. We are talking about a self-organizing team. They are fluid. They are fluid. They assume the leadership all by themselves. They adjust to each other. Right in the middle of a task, if uh, another person takes on the leadership role because he knows more about certain areas which are now to be addressed, so without any uh, conflict, the role will be changed to the other person. Automatically the other person will start taking on the leadership role without any transition problems.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is how the self-organizing team and then the servant leadership works. And in servant leadership, as I have already explained quite a bit in detail, that the team lead absolutely is just equal to a normal team member. He has the same authority and same power as a normal team member. Yes, he can also voice his concern as a normal team member, but not as a team lead, right? So when there is a meeting
Right.
amongst the team members, so this team lead also form parts of the team, talks to them as if he is an equal partner and can voice his opinion and all, but the decision will be taken by the whole team, not by the team lead. And then somebody
Okay.
else will assume the role of a leader for that job, and the team lead has absolutely no objection to that. So this is kind of servant leadership. The practice of leading the team by focusing on understanding and addressing the needs and development of team members in order to enable the highest possible team performance. That is the only way you can extract the highest team performance from the team. That is, let them do what they want to do, right? These concepts can be applied to any kind of project team, but remember, these concepts of self-organizing and self-servant leadership become mandatory when you are doing agile project. You can't have things done in any other way. Predictive projects and hybrid projects can also use this, but it is not mandatory for them. It is an option for them that they can do things in this way, and that will definitely be beneficial for them. But in agile, there are no options. We have to be self-organizing team, and leader has to be the servant leader. Okay, how does project manager's role exist in an adaptive team? Naturally, you understand that it could be either centralized or distributed. A centralized role would be all team members practice leadership activities. Everybody is a leader in their own way. They all practice leadership activities and accountabilities is usually assigned to one individual, such as the project manager or similar role. So this is a centralized model where team lead has certain authority to get the job done. Whereas when we talk about distributed, I mean, we have shifted all the responsibilities of the team lead to the team members. One project team member may shift serves as facilitator to enable communication, collaboration, and engagement on accountable tasks. So the uh, uh, the lead role keeps shifting around, not exactly the team lead, but within the team, who is going to get the job done. It depends upon each task, and there is a different leader every time who emerges automatically. Do you have an example in which you have seen this kind of thing happening where the leadership emerges from the group automatically and somebody takes charge of the situation?
So it's more of like an agile way that I have seen that. For example, if we were coordinating more with IT,
Mm-hmm.
so there were people more accountable for the deliverables from IT department,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, they do take charge. And for example, if one of the person in our team is representing the compliance, so we just agree on, for example, taking the minutes of the meeting. Again, I'm not pretty sure if that example is correct or not, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe sending the follow-up emails. So
Right.
yeah, these examples I have seen where people just take the charge or the responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe more actively communicate.
Okay. There is another term which is called situational leadership. What about that? What do you think about that? What is a situational leader?
So situational leadership again is like it varies. For example, if someone has the deeper knowledge or interest in a certain topic, that
Mm.
person can take the leadership of that task.
Okay. But this person is never assigned as a leader, but he automatically assumes the relationship, assumes the role in case of a situation, in case of an emergency. Although this person might be in a hierarchy, it could be very junior, but this person knows that everybody is stunned by the situation, nobody is doing anything. So he picks up the courage and takes on that job, right? So this is called
Right.
a situational leadership, and that is very close to the servant leadership model because this is an initiative anyone can take. So even within a self-organizing team, we do have this situational kind of thing available, right? I have an
Right.
example of this situational leadership, and I was really amazed to see that there was. I used to be going to my office on a specific road, and there was another person who used to travel on the same road, and we knew each other. We used to cross each other. Someday he was ahead of me. Some days, he used to cross me from on the road, but we were going almost in the same direction, and we knew each other. One day, there was an accident on the road before I reached there, and I saw a van overturned, and some problem was there, and road was kind of blocked. I took, I was getting late from the office, so I took a alternate route, and I just moved on. Later on, I learned that that person, the other person, he was ahead of me, and the accident just happened a couple of moments ago. He was ahead of me. When he tried to pass, this accident had happened. He immediately stopped his car. He gathered all the injured people, put them into a van, and drove the van himself to the hospital. I could not, gather that much courage, or I could not take that situational leadership role on. I could never have done it, but this was a great example of a hero, right? So heroes normally, they are the situational leaders, right? But that is instantaneous. The situational leadership thing doesn't need any expertise in doing something. It is a response to a sudden situation. But what we are saying here is a self-organizing team, that each one of the members of the team, they are, experts in whatever they are. They are. I'll just give you the concept of a generalizing specialist. They are all specialists, and they know what they need to do. And a leader automatically keep bubbling up. Sometimes someone else is a leader, and then someone else takes a leadership role. The leadership role basically within the team keeps revolving around, right? And nobody really objects
Yeah.
to that because they are getting maximum efficiency whatsoever. Now, my question is, if a team is self-organizing, is a project manager ever needed there?
Of course, because it's
If your answer
I
is
think it
yes,
is.
what does that role look like? What is that project manager like? What does he do?
So more of like maybe arranging meetings, sharing the updates.
Mm-hmm.
So more of like not exactly the managerial role, but exactly uh, maybe a mediator role or a facilitator role.
Exactly. So in a way, you are trying to say that this is a servant leadership this guy is exercising. Although project manager as such, if it is an agile project, there is no name such as a project manager. So if your answer is no, probably you are referring to agile model. But in a hybrid model, we may have a project manager, we may have a team lead, and still we do have self-organizing team, right? And in a predictive project, definitely we will have a project manager, but probably that is not self-organizing. It can be, but it is right now it is not. But anyways, what we are talking about here is the role is of servant leader, whomsoever, whatever the name of that person is, whether it is a project manager, it is a team lead, or whatsoever, even a product owner, they all have to be exercising the servant leadership. So that is what we learn out of this. Then
Okay.
hybrid teams, naturally, you do understand, hybrid is, as I said earlier, is something in between the predictive and the agile. And, we don't know at what level of, what proportion of predictive are you applying and what proportion of agile are you providing in a hybrid model. But, there is some proportion of predictive project management, some proportion of agile project management, which actually forms a hybrid. And hybrid could be more predictive and less agile, or more agile and less predictive, or both things are being exercised on a 50-50 ratio, something, any model which can be formed by combining predictive and agile methodology in whatever proportion will generally be called as a hybrid model. But hybrid team formation example could be a centralized coordination by a project manager or team lead, and self-organizing project teams for portions of the work. So it is a top-down model where at the top we have the traditional project manager and project sponsor roles existing, while at the lowest level where the actual work is happening, we have agile teams and a agile project team lead. Who is exercising servant leadership, the team is exercising self-organizing, but at the top, the person who is named as a project manager, probably that guy is more, autocratic in nature, He's more interested in a big picture and things like that. So I would say this is an example where we have predominantly a predictive organizational structure, but at the bottom, we are getting the job done in a agile manner. I hope that clarifies the thing.
Yeah.
Project team composition. It refers to how does agile team look like, what is the composition or a makeup of the team. So I have already told you that all the required skills to do the job, there should be at least one specialist in each area of specialization, and this small team of 8 to 10 people should be able to do all that work, should have one specialist in each area, right? That is number one. So how team members are brought together, naturally, it is kind of, I have hired 10 people of different specializations. I have formed a team. Naturally, it has to go through the forming, storming, norming, and all those stages. And only after they have gone through the forming, storming, and norming, they can be considered to be able to start performing. And that is the point when I will give them the work. It varies based on organizational culture, location, and scope. But and these roles in the team could be full time or part time also, right? But in agile, what we need a full time role of a self organizing team member. Now, before they become a self organizing team, let's talk about the specialization each person is having. We did say that everyone must be a specialist of at least one area, right? Won't
Right.
there be a lot of conflict if there are 10 specialists of 10 different areas, everyone trying to drag the things in his or her favor? Will it not be a problem?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem.
And how do you think you could normalize the situation? Yes, they are all experts, they are good at what they do, but naturally they have been formed together, so they have to go through the storming and norming phase as if they can develop an understanding of each other, right? Now, how do
Right.
you propose that this understanding can be developed?
So by just, setting the right tone or the right structure in the team by project manager.
But again, project manager doesn't have that kind of authority in agile projects. Right? Okay, I do agree that he can do that on kind of like providing trainings and advices to them, but he can't set a tone like by order. He can't order them around. The self-organizing team works all by itself. They set their own tone. They set their own way of working. They are completely independent. So
So then
forget about
yeah,
the
how it will
team lead.
be.
Forget about the team
Okay.
lead. Just tell me what the team members should do to better understand each other. They do, what is the conflict?
Communicate,
Yeah,
communicate more effectively.
communicate more effectively, and the most important thing is try to learn a little bit about everyone else's job, as if they can be comfortable, they can understand what is the importance of other job, and not only that, but kind of they can even do the other person's job in that person's absence. I hope you understand.
Yeah.
So these are the people who have got a little knowledge about everything are called journalists, and people who have got a lot of knowledge about only one thing, they are called specialists. What we are suggesting here that in
A
agile team,
question here.
yes, please.
Yes. A question here. So
Yes, of
if
course.
the person they're gonna more like understanding the importance of another job, it can only be within the team, not in the cross-functional team, right?
Cross function means that I have got these people from different departments and different functions. They are specialists which
Yes.
have been put together in this team from various other places. But if you need any further suggestions or advice or an expert opinion, we can always get some subject matter experts or consultants involved temporarily with the team.
Yes,
Right?
but then it's not going to be necessarily like, for example, if I am managing a project and I cannot do IT's work, but I can replace my own colleagues. So it can never be that I am like more of a specialized in IT, right? So it will only be applicable to my own team if there is like
Exactly.
any
So
conflict that
maybe
arises.
you need a person who is expert in that area. So you should have, like, when a plane flies, there is a pilot and the staff and even a guard, a commando sitting to save the plane, and maybe some technician. All of them are already on that. Even on a ship, we have got we have got a cross-functional kind of a environment there. We have got a mechanic, we have got engine expert, we have got electrical expert. So yes, of course, we need to have this kind of environment where we have a specialist for everything. So that is a specialist clause. The other thing is that everyone on the ship should know a little bit about the other specialization, as if they have to live together, they may have to replace each other. Maybe one person is sick, maybe the engine operator is sick. The other persons may know a little bit about the engine, as if they can operate the engine in his or her absence. I hope you understand
Okay.
my point. So,
Yeah.
what we are suggesting here is that in a self-organizing team, everyone is a journalist as well as a specialist. So, we will generally start calling them generalizing specialists. Generalizing specialists. I hope you understand my point.
Yeah, I do.
Project team member roles in a conventional project could be people who are involved in the management of the project, like the main staff members, like project manager, assistant project manager, team leads, and all that. So they may be considered as project management staff because they are managing the things. They are supporting the project manager, and they are the people in a traditional predictive project. These are the people who help project manager plan everything together. Then we have got the worker bees. They are the people who actually perform the work. This is called the project work staff. Then we also may have some supporting experts coming on and off on the project and providing some kind of advice, subject matter experts, whatever. And then if we have business partners, they could also have some very good opinions. So all of these may perform their roles on the team. But this is from the predictive point of view. Now, getting back to the agile environment, provision team members, external contractors, suppliers, and what is that word? Physical and intangible. Whatever the resources they want to do their job, you are supposed to be providing them all of those resources. I can't control the mouse here. I'm sorry. It's
No
always a
worries.
pain. Can't do that. Are you seeing some blank box?
No, I'm not able to see any blank box. It's
Okay.
just ensure relevant skill set,
Okay.
avoid single point of failure. Slide number 87, I think.
Right, right. Okay, so what we need to do is physical and intangible assets which are required by the team to do their work must be provided in time to them. If they need any advice or expertise, communication with outside bodies, they should be provided an opportunity. They should be able to do that. So we need to ensure that all the a team which is gathered together to do the work, they have the relevant skill set to do that job, right? Avoid a single point of failure. That means a single person is an expert of that area and that person is sick, can't do his or her job. We should not be stuck if a single person is not available. So that's why there is a need that we need to have a generalizing specialist in the team who could take over in case the main specialist is no more there. As I've given you the example of the ship, somebody should be able to perform his duties in his or her absence. We should not be relying on a single source, although we have a single expert, but we have a generalizing experts available, generalizing specialists available to deal with that situation. Then create a cross-functional team. Everybody should come from a different specialization. You should not have all the people from the same specialization. That would breed the conflict. The concept of generalizing specialist, which I just gave you, is also known as a T-shaped skill or T-shaped people. Have you ever heard about a T-shaped person? Does he look like a T?
I don't
Okay.
think that.
Let me try out again to attempt to draw something on screen. I don't know I can really do that or not. Okay, let me try to do it. Yeah. I don't know what is the problem. What nonsense is this?
So the T-person, T-shaped people, what exactly that it means?
Okay, let me explain that by I'm really unable to control the situation here. T-shaped. Let me see if there is a diagram available in next slide. No, I just look at this T. These T's written on the screen. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see that.
You see, T has got a top flange. There is a width to it, right? It is wide by this much size, and a bottom flange which is quite deep. The depth of the upper flange is very less, and the depth of the bottom flange, which is vertical, is very deep.
Yeah.
That shows that you are a specialist in this area with a lot of knowledge about this. You are a specialist of this area, whereas all the other areas needed by the team, you know a little bit about them. So the depth of the top flange is less. That is, your generalizing knowledge is shown by the top flange, and your specializing knowledge is shown by the bottom flange, the vertical one, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, right.
if you are a T-shaped person, then you are not only a specialist of whatever your area is, but you know a little bit about everything else, all other specializations within the organization. You can handle their job in their absence. Maybe collectively the team can handle it, not a single person, but they can all make the things go. They can get the things done even in the absence of the relevant stakeholder, relevant specialists. So these are the people who are called T-shaped people or T-shaped skills. And the third thing is that you should provide them the relevant resources, what they need at what time, whether they're tangible, intangible, their requirement must be fulfilled. As far as the T-shaped people and self-organizing teams are concerned, provide individual value and versatility on project teams. Lend flexibility to organizers. If you have a self-organizing team, you are able to do all that. You are giving value, you are being versatile, whole the team can adopt to the situation. You can lend a lot of flexibility to the organization. Everybody is kind of a expert in everything. Help avoid key resource shortages that is relevant to the intangible or tangible resources, the physical resources, that we should never get into a shortage situation, because team is efficient, they are ready to work, but certain equipment or materials which are required to work on, they are missing. So as a team lead, I would ensure that all the materials or resources are made available just in time. When the team is ready to work, the resources should already be available just before that work is to start. That is the facilitation the servant leader can do for his self-organizing team. Then the leader, the team lead, can train and coach team members to become T-shaped, combining breadth and depth of knowledge. Right? I think I need not explain that. This can apply in purely agile situation and as well in a hybrid situation. In predictive, you can use it, but that is optional. But in predictive, in hybrid and agile, this is the model you have to be using appropriate. Then we come over to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Probably this is something you must already be very well aware about. This is being practiced in where you are doing the job. You give equal opportunity rights to everyone. We don't differentiate between a black guy and a white guy, a Chinese guy and a Japanese guy. We just male, female, they all have equal rights, and even people with disabilities, they are also always included with special allowance. They are also put on team. So this is exactly what I mean. Teams are global and diverse in culture, gender, physical ability, language, and many other factors. The project environment optimizes the team's diversity and builds a climate of mutual trust. Nobody is small, nobody is big, everybody is equal, they all have equal rights. That is exactly what we must promote and practice. Experts and the expert judgment. You can always get experts, subject matter experts, consultants, maybe consult with stakeholders or technical association. Maybe you write to PMI that we are doing a project and we have got this kind of problem. Can you help us, help and advise us on that or something like that? Yes, you can do that. You can get access to the old record or the historical data and seek guidance from there, or maybe you can talk to the project manager. That is these are all the various means of consultation with an expert and forming your own expert judgment or opinion. So when I say expert judgment, doesn't mean that you are some kind of an expert and you can make all the decisions. If you think that decision is beyond your capability, you can even consult with anyone outside of the project for advice, as if you can make a proper, good expert judgment. Okay, now this is interesting. When we have got team formed, everyone is a generalizing specialist, but because they are individuals, when the team is put together, they anyways have to go through forming, storming, norming, and all that. And actually, team gains strength when they are all together for a while and they are now able to move to the performing stage. They have already formed, stormed, and normed, and now they start acting like a team. This is during the performing that it is the team and not the individual or the specialization that matters anymore. Team is one unit. Now, as a team, do a little SWOT analysis. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are various threats and opportunities which we are facing? So, based on that, you can, attempt to improve your performance, increase your strengths, reduce your weaknesses, encounter the threats, deal with them, mitigate them, or opportunities, increase the chance of those opportunities, and ultimately, what is our purpose? We want to improve the team performance. But remember, in Agile, there is no I, no me. It is we, always we. If something wrong happens, everyone in the team is to be blamed. If anything good happens, everyone in the team is going to get the credit. You cannot give the credit to any one of the people. Now, you may
What
say,
about the yes? What about the hybrid one and the other one,
in
the
hybrid,
predictive one?
you can partially use this strategy only at the lowest level where things are going agile, and at the upper level, well, we can leave it as an option to the upper levels, which are predictive in nature, that they want to use this type of focus or not. I said all of these techniques we use in agile, although they are mandatory for agile and agile won't work without them, but even predictive and hybrid project can use all of these characteristics, all of these concepts, and they will definitely benefit them, but they are optional for them. So I should say that yes, you are a team even if you are a predictive project, but you can optionally use try to do things which I am telling you. But if you are agile, then you have no option. That is a mandatory requirement that you should be doing it. Otherwise, you will not remain agile if you are not self-organizing, if you are not, exercising the servant leadership and things like that. But this SWOT analysis is common. Anybody can do that. Then comes the team norms. What are the team norms? You remember a couple of slides back, we did talk about that in a predictive project manager establishes the team agreement, that sets the rules of the game for the whole team. But in Agile, it is not like that. In Agile, the team collectively establishes the rule of the game. They collectively develop a team agreement, or what we call as a team charter. And remember, this team charter is not equivalent to the project charter. Project charter was a different document, and it is a completely, different thing. Here we are talking about the team charter. Team charter tells you how the team is has mutually decided how we will be working, what hours we will be working, what rules we will be following. If there is a conflict among the team, how are we going to resolve that? If there is a decision to be made by the team, how that decision will. So they will kind of establish those guidelines and all will agree to that and sign it, and that would be your team agreement. And this team agreement can be revised anytime by another communication or a meeting amongst the team members, and they can change the rules of the game as well, right? But this is a very good thing that you do have this kind of agreement or a charter. Team norms must be established. And an agile team establishes it all by themselves. In a predictive team, project manager assigns the agreement to them. Together,
so what exactly is the role of a project manager in an agile team?
in agile, as I said, in an agile project manager is more of a team lead and nothing else, which is a servant leadership role. But in hybrid, we do have a team lead as well as a project manager and a project sponsor. So this is the marry up of the predictive and the agile. So the upper levels will keep exercising the predictive way of working, whereas the lowest level, the product owner, the team lead, and the team members, they would be exercising the agile rules. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever the guidelines you establish and agree, they should be discussed in the meetings, communicated among the team members, and that should include how are we going to conduct the meeting, how are we going to communicate, how are we going to resolve the conflict, how are we going to share the values, how we are going to make the decisions and all. And one thing more, align team values with the ethical values as well. The team values must include ethical values. What is ethical and what is not, that must also be established by the team. And if you are a project manager and you are a PMI member, PMI has got a code of ethics and professional conduct for the use of everyone who follows PMI guidelines. So if you don't have some kind of ethics being exercised in your organization, you could follow the PMI code of ethics and professional conduct. But I do believe and understand there are always some ethical values in the organization which are being followed, and they should be considered while the team values are being established, a team charter is being written, those values must be referred to. Talking about code of ethics and professional conduct, what are these 4 values? Do you have any idea? Have you ever heard about the PMI code of ethics and heard
No.
about these values? No, never?
No, not about the PMI code of ethics and the professional
Okay,
conduct.
good enough, no problem at all. So what are they? These are the 4 basic values. Responsibility, respect, fairness, and honesty. Now, let me very briefly describe each one of them. And this doesn't apply only to agile. This applies to everything, to predictive, to agile, to everything which is being done under these rules, under these ethics. So every member of PMI is bound by these ethics. No matter where you are working, what projects you are working on, you must respect these 4 values. Responsibility. You, as a project manager, are responsible for what you have done, and you're also responsible for what you have not done, but you should have done. Try to sink that message in and tell me if you are convinced with the sentence. You are responsible for whatever you have done, and you are also responsible for whatever you have not done, but you should have done. Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So a good project manager will always take on the responsibility. He will not shirk away the responsibility. He will not point fingers towards his or her subordinates that it must be this person's mistake. That is a bad practice. That is a non-ethical, unethical, and that is not, good at all. You are in a senior position. You should take the blunt of it. You should face the music. Don't and shield your staff, shield your team from any damages, because you are the one who allowed them to do what they did. And if they did it wrong, you should be held responsible. You should be bold enough to take on the responsibility. That is number 1 lesson. Naturally, there is a complete document and you must read it. It's a very interesting and very knowledgeable document. Second thing is respect. It says, if you cannot respect yourself, you can't respect anyone in the team. I hope you understand that point.
Yeah.
So you learn to respect yourself, learn to respect your team members, do not abuse them, respect them, and naturally that is something which is very easy to understand, that you should be respectful towards your surroundings, your work, your people, your team members, your environment. You should be respectful. You should, there's a there are lot many idioms on that, that you should be kind of you should not poke a hole in your plate to eat from, right? So you better respect
Yeah.
even that plate from where you're taking your food. You should have some respect for that. So in your environment, your project, you should respect all of that. Fairness, that means no bribery, no undue advantage to anyone, right? I hope that is also quite understandable. And you can't do unfair practices under the garb of fairness. Like you say, okay, I am a procurement manager in this organization, and I will tell my nephew to bid for the contract and get it, and I can secretly, kind of facilitate him in getting that contract. Well, that is unfair. That is unfair. No matter how fair you appear, even to the extent that when you learn that on a contract you have floated, one of your relatives is applying for that, you should immediately get in touch with your boss and tell him or her the situation, that I have nothing to do with that. This is the guy, he is my relative, and he wants to bid. He is submitting a bid for this contract because I am sitting on the decision chair. So I may be excused. I should not be part of the team making the decision. This you must highlight. This is called conflict of interest. If there is a conflict of interest, you should get yourself separated from that assignment. Now, it all depends upon your boss. If he or she trusts you, then probably they can say, okay, no problem. We know you are a fair person. You will not do injustice. So be seated on whatever position you are and keep doing what you are supposed to be doing. Just be fair. Don't give him any undue advantage, right? So if that be said, then you can continue your work. Otherwise, you should offer it yourself, that I should be separated from this assignment, as there is a chance of conflict of interest. I hope you understand that.
Yeah. It is clear as well.
Last but not the least is the honesty. Honesty is kind of very important. And it is not that, I am supposed to be telling you something and I don't tell you. Am I being honest?
No.
I am not being honest, although I have not spoken anything to you. Nobody can tell me you are being dishonest because you didn't tell her anything. I would have told you that, but I did not tell you. That also counts towards dishonesty. People say I didn't say anything, so how am I dishonest? Yes, because you did not convey that message to the other person when it should have been transmitted. So you are being dishonest. There must be a purpose why you did not inform that person. Maybe that person, you are trying to kill the advantage that person could have gained by gaining that information. So you are being dishonest. It is not only when you lie that you are being dishonest, but when you hide the truth is also dishonesty. If you tell the half truth and a half dishonest statement, then probably that is also dishonesty. So truth and only the truth and at the right time should be spoken. That is what is the ethical value here. Anyways, that is a very interesting document, and I would strongly recommend that you can go to PMI website and try to search it out and download it. This is a good document, which is a good read. It's not only from the PMI perspective, but from your organizational perspective, you will learn a thing or two. We have already talked about the team norms, and when team norms and the ground rules are established and written down by the team in form of a document, that is called a team charter. This could be electronic copy, it could be on paper, it could even be a poster you can post on the wall of your workspace where everybody can read it. All the ground rules could be written on it. So yes, of course, this could be one way of doing it. And I think this is a very good way. If you can create a poster on which all the basic rules of the game are written, then everybody who is working on that project would be looking at that poster while they pass by it, and therefore they will be reminded of all the ground rules. It is not created by any one person. It is a team effort. It is a collective effort by the team. It is mutual work. And what all could be included in this charter, you should describe what values we really share, or what we believe in, what is the objective of the project, or things like that, which you commonly understand. We don't have any conflict about these basic things. Behavior guidelines. How are we going to be behaving? So, in very brief, I'm not saying you write a thesis on that, but general guideline about the behavior, maybe a line or two, which says that we will be dressed up in this manner. Will be joining the workplace every day on 9 a.m. and must leave by 5 p.m. There will be no overstays. There will be no extra breaks and things like that. Guideline, and the team is doing that. Nobody is ordering you to do that. Team is establishing this team charter. It also may include some guidelines about how we are going to communicate with each other or other stakeholders, and what tools are we going to be using when there is a decision to make. What is the procedure we will adopt to make those decisions? How we are going to set the performance expectations, how the conflicts are going to be resolved, how the meetings will be conducted, how long a meeting will take, how frequently a meeting will happen, and what would be the channel on which this meeting will be happening. And there could be other things which we have agreed on. This could be what the shared hours, any improvement activities, or any other guideline you can think of. They can all form part of charter. But at the same time, I must remind you, charter is going to be a brief document, to the point, most effective document. It should not be maybe 20 or 30 pages long. It should be so simple and so easy that it could be posted on the wall. It could be written down on a single piece of paper, and everybody can easily refer to that and kind of relate to that all the time throughout the life of the project. So, team charter is a document created by the team. It contains a little bit detail about the project, that is your shared values, and then it talks about the rules of the game, and that's about it. And maybe a little bit about different roles which will be played in the project, like what is going to be the role of product owner, what is going to be the role of the team lead, what is going to be the role of team member, and things like that. A little bit about that also could be included. At most, I think it should be not more than 2 pages. But if you eliminate these the details about the roles and other things, it could be accommodated in one single piece of paper. This could be an example, a very good example. Actually, in this example, we have got the details about the project here, scope of the work here, project timelines, broad timelines, which have been told to us basically in the business case or the project charter. Though that information may be, but this is optional. If you want to provide these details, it actually develops a common understanding or shared understanding about what the project is. then administrative reporting requirements, resources and budget. So things about that. So that portion is about developing the shared understanding. Then comes that team, who is the project manager, who is the product owner, who are the team members, and then what are the roles of these different, team executive sponsors roles and responsibilities, project managers roles and responsibilities, team members roles and responsibilities. So very briefly, you can write down these roles in point form. But the most important thing is at the end. That is something which you should put on the poster on the wall. That is the ground rules, team guidelines and communication. For example, rule number 1, working hours will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the office. Rule number 2, on-site working hours are posted on-site and changed daily. Use security ID badges to enter site at any hour. Hard hats and boots must be worn on-site. So whatever kind of project you are doing, you can mutually agree on certain ground rules and you can write them down. And this is the portion, the ground rule portion, that I want you to make into a poster and post it in your workplace, as if everybody coming and going can have a look at it and they would know that this is how we are going to perform. This is how we are going to work. Then comes the team communication. What did we agree earlier? We agreed to a 5-hour class or a 6-hour class.
I think 6 hours till 10, but yeah, it's fine if we finish early or.
Okay, let us have a 5-hour class, and if at all there is something which we could not have covered, we can add another class after that, right?
Okay, right. That is
So
fine.
we will have,
Can we have 5 minute break right now?
of course, why not? Why not? Let's have a 5-minute
Okay.
break, then we'll get back and we'll finish this portion. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Are you back?
Hello.
Okay, welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay, so just last 25 minutes or so, and we are going to close the session for today. Talking about team communication within the team, how the team can effectively communicate amongst themselves. Naturally, there could be many ways. This is something which is applicable to all kinds of projects, predictive, agile, and all. So, how do we communicate? Naturally, we have got verbal communications, we have got written communications, and we also have got some kind of behavioral communications, like you show your attitude to someone, behavior, that could be your behavior. And there could be physical could be like you put something on the notice board or any kind of a whiteboard or something like that, or maybe you give some kind of gesture. I will say the gestures could be body language, which is physical, but it is also behavioral. But classically, I would classify that into a physical category because you are sending out signals by your physical physique. And virtual, as we are communicating now, that is through some media, either it is a teleconference or a video conference, they are all different virtual environments. So whenever you are communicating with anyone, you have to decide your own method, which method would be most effective for you. Uh, but you can choose out of any one of these methods. Include your communication expectations and details in the team charter. Your team charter, where you set out the ground rules, that must be indicative of your policy about communication. And we have seen there was a specific mention about communication in the team charter, the example we have seen. Organize communications. How do you do that? Facilitate team and stakeholder collaboration and manage their expectations. Check regularly to make sure it's working. The team communication is working, right? And
Right.
very important thing is the retrospective we do conduct at the end of our agile iteration, or for that matter, the lesson learned exercise we do at the end of a predictive project phase or end of the project. So those things are very important because there we communicate and we note down the lessons learned and we record them for future guidance of the future project. So that is also very important. So that is the importance of team communication. Any comments you want to make on that?
No, I think it is pretty clear.
Okay, co-located teams and the virtual team. What do you think? What is better? I have been talking about this a lot. What do you think is better, co-located team or a virtual team?
Uh, co a co-located team, but then it's personal preference because
Okay.
then it's easy to talk to people, better bonding as it is already written. So yeah, it's just easy to develop the bond. It's easy to talk to people. It's easy to develop a relationship.
Exactly. So, if you ask me, if you have a choice to have a co-located team or a virtual team, I would rather go for a co-located team because that is the best bonding possible. Physical, you want to talk to each other face to face. You have physical existence in front of the other person. You can see what that person is actually doing. No matter no level of virtual team can help you out. Maybe you have cameras everywhere, but those cameras are and never ever going to give you a big picture of the thing. You can't even right now. We are virtually talking to each other. I don't have an opportunity to read your face or your feelings or because your picture is so small, right? If you are
Yeah.
physically present in front of you, I can really interpret your expressions, well, you're understanding things or not, and things like that. So virtual team can never ever come closer to the co-located team, no matter what kind of drone coverage you do, you camera coverage you do. You can have all round camera coverage. You see, this is a difference between 2D and 3D.
Yeah.
The co-located team, we have got a 3D view of the person, a physical view of the person. Whereas camera will always give me, video will always give me a 2D view. Right? I can't even see in the depth. So yes, of course, virtual team I won't prefer, but that sometimes become my problem because virtual teams have their own advantages. Like you are sitting in another country, I am sitting in another country, and you are talking. This is a blessing. This is what the big benefit of the virtual team is, that if I have to travel to meet you, then probably it will take hours to travel all the way to your place. But at the same time, we are talking like we are just sitting together. So that is a wonderful benefit of the virtual team. Um, in most of the workplaces nowadays, that has become a norm because we use multicultural teams. Like even in the PMI days when I was working with them, and we used to have teleconferences. They were from all over the world. I had a team of 25 people, and they were all from all over the world. And they had different times, and they have got different mentalities, different way of thinking, different languages, but we were able to communicate very effectively. Yes, it can be done. Create opportunities for the organization, like if the workforce is cheaper in a specific country, then they can work from there, right? And we can deal with them virtually. Of course, there is a benefit, but again and
Yeah.
again, I keep saying there is no match to co-location. Better skills at lower cost, avoid relocation expenses, work-life balance. Person is working from home, and he doesn't have to worry about going back home after the work because home is the next door. He opens the door and it becomes the home. So yes, of course,
Yeah.
work-life balance is also there. Rely on communication technology, of course. You have to have a strong and very good internet connectivity or whatever mechanism you are using. Rely on communication technology is there. May have bonding challenges. This could be a problem. We can't really bond well online, right? That is something we can do better if we are co-located. Anyways, so that is some the differences and the characteristics of each one of these two methods, and decision is yours in whatever environment you are, what suits you best. But remember, always try. If co-location is possible, that should be done, right? For example, there is
Right.
the person who works with you daily, he or she meets you, and you say, okay, you will sit in your office and I'll sit in my office, and we will do the video conference. That is the most stupid decision I can ever hear. If you can meet a person, why don't you meet that person? Why can't you do that? Until and unless there is some really situation where you can't really meet and you have to talk on online, well, I agree with that, but preference should be towards co-location. What are the challenges of a virtual team? Naturally, I have already discussed a lot, many of them. um, uh, Really, it is not possible to uh, do the individual performance tracking physically. You can't see the person, and naturally, you have to rely on the reports and returns and other things somehow to evaluate how well a specific individual is performing. you have to track that. And naturally, there are KPIs, there are other ways and mechanisms that can be made possible. Then we have got the language problems, diversity, technological skills difference. Well, that can also be bridged in a way or two. Solo working prohibits bonding. That is a big advantage, which I think virtual teams, you are sitting in a room working with different 25 people from different 25 countries. Everybody is sitting alone in a room. So they are feeling isolated. They are working actually on ground, they're working solo. But they kind of they are trying to uh, pose as if they are working together virtually, but that actually causes a kind of sense of loneliness. I'm sitting here on this seat for last 8 hours without talking to a real person. You understand my point?
Yeah.
Running a virtual team, check in with people individually as often as possible, because naturally they have different timings and other commitment. You have to ensure that they do not have any other commitment. They can make it to the online meeting and all, and it is a suitable time for them. Then conduct positive network building activities, even online. There should be some kind of icebreaker, some kind of activities going on to create interest. It should not be something which is very robotic, we are doing, and very boring in other ways. So there could be like icebreakers and other online activities. What are your tips for creating a positive virtual team experience? Any views from your side?
Maybe be more engaging, like we're communicating actively right now. So you're waiting for my response instead of just, yeah. And this is also one class, but if it is a bigger group, then creating a discussion in the breakout room can be a good example.
Exactly. That you see, there are advantages and there are disadvantages. Because it is a one-to-one class, we can focus more on each other directly. But if there were 10 people, this focus would have been lost. But then you have got other advantages to that, that you can break out, you can discuss, and things like that. So naturally, there are upsides and downsides to every situation. So yes, of course, I do agree with you. In virtual teams, we do have these kinds of challenges. What are the different communication technologies being used in virtual teams? Naturally, we don't have physical whiteboard, we don't have physical presence, we don't have the table, chair, and the computer, all everything in office. We are sitting in our home, kind of, and we have got working hour differences. We have got the geographic dispersion, we have got security requirements. So plan team communication and collaboration methods as if they don't feel lonely. They can have a positive experience. And then we have got online tools, like we have a physical whiteboard. We have got a digital whiteboard. We have task boards, which could also be digital. We have all the information radiators, as in Agile, can all be available online. You update anything on any one of the charts, and everyone else will be able to see it. Maybe there are dashboards created for bosses and for different people, and their dashboards automatically get updated as soon as you amend one of the information radiators, and everybody is on board all the time. Calendars could be shared, document storage, like, we have got cloud storage, we can put things there, people can access them from there. We can have knowledge repositories, we could have wikis for that purpose, created specifically for your own purpose. There could be video conferences, and so on and so forth. So video team communication technologies, we are nowadays, we are very well aware. I don't think there is anything I can add to it, but we understand because we keep doing that all the time. But yes, of course, new tools are always being introduced, and there are some very interesting tools, and you must learn them all the time. Address the virtual team members' needs. Naturally, these you understand that these people are not really present in front of you, and they are far off in another country, in another culture, in another time zone. So probably you have to catch up for whatever you are missing in a physical connection. Facilitate and ensure collaboration as a priority. You must collaborate with them, like, there are no distances between you. Address the basic needs of a virtual team. That is, number one is the cohesion. Number two is the shared goals. Do we all have the same goal, or we are running after different goals? So shared understanding of the goals and objectives of the organization and all, and they should have a clear purpose, the clarity. It should not be kind of doubts about things, whether we should be doing it this way or that way. So all the unclear situation should be clarified. Clarity should be there in the roles and expectations. If you keep doing that, you will bring the virtual team up to speed. They can perform better. Although we said the co-location is the best option, but if you have to resort to virtual teams, probably using the various digital tools and all, you can be even more effective sometimes, as even compared to the co-located setup. Question: what are the two techniques that a project manager can use to appraise the skills of a potential team member? We have got 4 options here. 2 are correct, which you have to choose. Ability test, focus groups, Kanban boards, STASI metrics. What do you think? What could be the appropriate thing?
Focus group and the RACI method.
Focus group and
RACI metrics.
RACI metrics. You are slightly wrong about it. RACI metrics is basically about distributing the responsibilities and accountabilities, etc. Right? So it is a project manager can use to appraise. So RACI is not the way to appraise. Focus groups could be. Ability tests could be. Which two statements describe self-organization? We have already talked a lot about self-organization. 2 options out of these are appropriate for self-organization. Choose them and tell me.
Number A, and allocating all the resources before they get assigned to a different project. No, I didn't go with that. So A and C.
A and C. Very good. Very good. Okay. This was another example about the code of ethics. The answer is already displayed, so you can read it. Which two of the following are reasons that PMI publishes a code of ethics? The first reason is create a commitment to honesty, integrity, and commitment. And the other thing is ensure compliance with the rules and laws, right? Other 2 options are not correct. Okay, what about this? One option you should select. Which of the following is an artifact that outlines how the team will operate and work together? Is it a team charter, resource management plan, project charter, or team acquisition plan?
Team charter. A.
Very good, very good. Which is a good practice for the use of collaboration technology? One option is correct.
Number C, like the C one, define team goals under.
Exactly. So you don't follow as the previous project person has done, our previous project has done, or the team lead is having experience in something, or selecting a tool which is the best, which has the best features. No, look at your goals and practices and then select the appropriate tool for that. Which two are examples of virtual team collaboration? Answer is already displayed. Shared task boards and team chat boards. Your laptop is not a virtual tool. Your social media is not really required for this purpose. In which of the following artifacts will a list of stakeholders who will receive communications about the project appear? Project communication. Yes?
Yeah, communication management and stakeholder register communication requirement analysis.
List of stakeholders who will receive communications about the project.
It is a list of only stakeholders, right?
Who will receive the communications about the project?
Stakeholder just
C. The correct
yeah.
answer is B, because focus is not on the stakeholders, so focus should be on the communication. So communication management plan tells you who will receive what information at what place, right? So don't focus on the
Right.
list of stakeholders, focus on who will receive the communication. So B is the right answer. Which of the following is not a component of communication management plan? One answer is incorrect.
And the rest are correct.
Yep.
So do I have to select one answer or
One wrong answer, I mean, which is not a component of communication management plan.
stakeholder register is the
Of
wrong
course,
answer? The rest
of
is
course. That is part of the stakeholder engagement plan. That is not part of the communication management plan. After integrating the communication management plan into the overall project plan, what would be the next logical step? What you have done is you have integrated the communication management plan with the overall project plan. So the things are done. As far as the planning is concerned, that is tied up. What should you do next?
distributing the plan to all the stakeholders.
Very good, very good. Which two of the following should be included in a communication management plan? Two of the options are correct.
A and C.
A and C, A and D
Yes.
are the correct answer. Project charter is not part of the communication management plan. That is referred to, but is not part of communication management plan. Preferred communication approaches with external stakeholders, that could be. So we are done with this topic. I think we should stop here, although there are only 20 or 30 slides more left. But we will do it in the next class. That would be,
Okay.
we have already decided the dates, but we will
Yes.
do it on the next class, right?
Yeah, it's
And,
on Friday.
it's on Friday, yes. So any comments, any points you want to make at the end of the session?
No, it's really, I think, good. So I just need to, yeah, maybe read a bit more about it. I have found the lectures, so the books are also available online, right?
Yes, of course, it should be.
Yeah, I will also try. Do you recommend like going through the book once, or do you think that just doing the slides is more than enough?
Well, it could be more than enough, but if you read the book, in a layer study, don't try to mug it up. Just read it like a novel. As you will read it, you will remember what you have studied. So it would be a good
Okay.
read. It could be kind of very comfortable. But I strongly recommend that the actual standard or the book should be read in whole.
Okay. And
Okay,
it
then
is the seventh edition, right?
7th edition. Yeah, of course. It's always good to
Okay.
read the standard.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, and thank you and take care. Let's see you on the next coming Friday, right? Thank you and take care. Bye
Sure,
bye.
yeah. Bye.